how's Sunderland going to set up then, and how do you think Sunderland will attempt to, take all 3 points from Everton? I mean, you've already mentioned strengths that they've got. I guess my question is, any weaknesses that Everton can exploit?
If the teams that have beat us this season, Burnley defeated us by having none of the ball, and they gave us the ball and went, you just do what you want with the ball and we'll just try and hit you on the counter-attack. I would almost caveat that with the fact that we didn't have our first choice defence that game. We hadn't signed Nordy Mukwele. Dan Ballard got injured very early on. We were playing Jensen Steele, who's no longer at the club. So I think if we had our team that's playing right now, we probably would have won that Burnley game. But certainly then they hurt us by not having the ball, and that was the best way of beating us this season. Manchester United, we lost, and that was a tactical issue where our manager just got the game wrong. We also missed an absolute sitter in the first minute of the game, which would have changed things. But other than that, what we've seen from Sunderland this season is that we've largely done, certainly at home, we've picked up 10 points, we've won 3, we've drawn 1, and the one we drew, we were down to 10 men for an hour against Aston Villa, and it was a pretty credible point. At home, we've been pretty ferocious, we don't give up much, we don't allow teams into the centre of the pitch. That's the main tactical thing that we do. So we will let you have the ball on the wings. Whether or not we change that because of Jack Grealish, Nilman and Dye, maybe we do, but largely we don't let teams go through the middle. If you look at Chelsea's heat map at the weekend, there is a massive area basically outside the box where they don't get in the whole game with the ball. So that's probably where you can hurt us. The fact that we will actually play to your advantages and probably will let you have the ball on the wing and let players like Grealish potentially hurt us. At the weekend, Chelsea have got good wingers, and we went with a 5 at the back, which we haven't normally done. And what we did there was we had a back 5 that when we were in possession changed to a 4-4-2, which really, really hurt Chelsea and confused them, and they didn't look prepared for that. So it's possible we could do the same thing where when we're out of possession, we play a 5-4-1. When we're in possession, that'll switch over to a 4-4-2, and we'll have Trey Hume, who plays right wing back. He moves into central midfield, and then Nordy Mukwele, who's a right back or a centre back, he moves over to right back, so it puts us into a 4. So I think if I was Everton and I was thinking of a way of hurting Sunderland, I think the thing I would do is really utilise the wingers and try and hurt us down the flanks, because we will give you time to do that, because our system is very much, if you cross the ball in the box, we are going to probably win the headers. But I think the quality you have on the wings, and I love Jack Grealish, he's one of my favourite players. I worry about a player like him coming up against our full backs and getting joy, because we will give them time. So yeah, that's probably the area where you can hurt us.
It's interesting because that's kind of how Everton have transitioned this season, from a team kind of sitting back with a bit of a low block and trying to hit teams on the counter or force mistakes on the opposition. But now with Grealish and Dewsbury Hall, who have been the 3 behind the striker, it's the aim is to get the ball wide and then those crosses into the box, which, if I'm being totally honest, hasn't worked 100% of the time, and it has been fairly frustrating. There's a lot of debate among Everton fans with regards to that. Obviously, a lot of people blaming the striker in Beto and Barry, who's come on and they're just not making the efforts, not the efforts as such, but all taking the plunge to get in those areas to get on the end of those crosses. Or there's the other debate where we're trying to transition too quickly, even with the likes of Grealish and Ndiaye. It's become almost hitting a brick wall, because we get to that final third and it's fairly easy to defend against it. So it is interesting. I mean, can I make a bold prediction that the team with the Lions' share of possession potentially could be the team that loses that game on Mondays? It's the team who doesn't have the Lions' share of possession would make the most of what they can.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that assessment. I think.
Will Sunderland let Everton have the ball, and do you think will that be a tactic during the game?
We're not as bad for that as like a Burnley would be. We aren't going to totally sacrifice possession of the ball, but it's more that when you have the ball, we will happily move back into our low block, mid block sort of position. We will happily do that, but we're not going to be passive. Sunderland basically press the team in their own defensive third, but if you get through that defensive third, we will sit back and then go back into our positions. That's generally how we like to play. We're not full press. We're just going to press all over the park. It's a much more measured press. I would probably agree though. I would think that the possession will probably be about 50-50, because I imagine watching Everton when they played Leeds away. I mean, they were absolutely honking on the opening day. It was terrible. But when they played Leeds away, they were really, really poor. But Leeds dominated the ball in that game, and I felt like Everton sacrificed that on purpose. I don't know if they just couldn't deal with Leeds on the evening, but you know, I don't see Everton allowing us to do what Leeds did. I would think they would probably have learned their lessons from that, and I think we're probably going to see a much more of a chess game. The other thing I'd say with Sunderland is that we are very happy drawing a game on 70 minutes because we have scored 4 goals pretty much from 88 minutes onwards this season. We are a team that our slogan is till the end. That's what the club goes by, and we've scored a lot of late goals. I mean, if you watch the playoffs, you'll see we scored 3 goals in the playoffs. So we've got a bit of a mantra at the club that we will score late goals, and there's a feeling within the fan base that we'll always get chances towards end of games, and that's probably what Sunderland are thinking. I think I'm happy right now if you tell me the game's 0-0 on 70 minutes. That's probably what our manager wants, and then we've got what he calls as finishers that come on for the last 20 minutes of the game that change things. Talby at the weekend is one of those finishers. Brobby, who held the ball up for the goal, as a finisher. We've got options to come on to sort of change the game. So I think from a Sunderland perspective, I think we aren't going to sacrifice the ball willy-nilly. But I don't think we are not a team that keeps the ball for keeping the ball's sake. We are always trying to be progressive with it. We're not going to pass the ball around the back 4. We are going to try and get up the pitch and create attacks. And I think that means that we do sacrifice a lot of the ball because we are always trying and we're always probing to try and create chances.